Bricky, I've recently watched a video on Alan Wake 2, which said that it's a story that they love with storytelling that they didn't love. Kind of made me think of your rant about it. Would you agree with that? A story that they love with a storytelling that they didn't love. I don't know. I don't know. So, because I'm going through Alan Wake 2, so I guess people are a little curious about how I'm feeling about Alan Wake 2 in the new game plus mode, right? And for one, it runs way better. It still is definitely not that well optimized. I'm still having issues sometimes. The memory leak is still very much there. It's clearly there. I do need to still like shut it off after every 2 hours or so just to make sure my frames are consistent. Um, I don't know why you guys didn't tell me to do this more. Some of you were like, "Oh, gamepad. Yeah, I played it on gamepad." Some of you were like mouse and keyboard. You play Alan Wake 2 on a gamepad. This is not an M&K game. Control was an M&K game. That could work on on mouse and keyboard. This is a gamepad game. It was made for gamepad. It is gamepad. All right. The difference in navigating the menus, in moving the characters, that is a controller fucking game. I would honestly call it mandatory. Don't Yakuza games do that thing where they're like, we really, really recommend gamepad for this. It should absolutely do the same. It is massive how much better the experience is on controller. Genuinely. Real Yakuza use a gamepad. There we go. It is absolutely significantly better. Like the menus are way easier to navigate. All of the major well, the case board isn't great. That's a little bit annoying. They make you like up on the D-pad to select stuff, and then you press A, and then you like move it around Destiny style, where it's not like it's like a little circle. You move it around and stuff with the gamepad. That's not good. But the actual shooting and utilizing stuff and inputs way better. I love it. I think it's way better. Control's pretty good on PC though. Control worked better on M&K. I liked. I don't think it still like handles great. It could be because I am so used to Resident Evil 2 and 4, and those games are just made in an engine that is so clearly like based for this reason. But I I do I do really think that Alan Wake 2 is better on a gamepad. Um, the more I play the game, it's a little I don't know. I don't know. It's I'm not happier with it, like story-wise. It's unique. It's unique. And it's a very bold way to write the game because clearly the idea of the spiral is that spoilers, you know, is that you have this whole idea where like okay, it's called the new game plus is called the final draft because it is literally the final redone draft of the game, and therefore it is the one where he finally escapes and they figure it all out, and all that kind of stuff, etc. Like that's a unique cool way to do storytelling, that it's like, oh no, the final draft is the real actual ending, literally because it's the spiral. Like that's cool, but it doesn't make replaying the last 20 hours particularly like better. You get a few more bits and pieces, a couple more like character stuff, and a couple more like manuscripts, but that's really it. And I don't know if it's really worth doing it, you know? It doesn't feel worth it. It's a lot of game time for that. It's a lot. Um so it's a little tough. I don't know. It's not like Near. Like Near is not about new game plus. Near is the game is not over until playthrough 3. Like it just flat out isn't. Um but I don't know. You're not really playing Alan Wake 2 for the gameplay, you play it for unique story, but that's the issue though, because we're playing a video game. At that point, why even just like play a game at all? Why not just watch a film? You know? Like you are playing a game for its gameplay. You play a game for the game. That's the difference between it and like I don't like a walking simulator game, you know? Like some games can get away with it, like What Remains of Edith Finch, for example. It's more like a visual type thing, novel kind of game, that kind of deal. Um, but like it's a game, you know. Oop, I'll answer that in a moment once I finish this thought process. Um, it's weird, but like I would agree with that. Like, no, it's more of an art project. I do agree with that fully. But when the art project still takes like 20 hours to play, that's that's the issue I have with it. Is that an art project that you're playing a piece of art? I think there's a reason those games only ever last 3 to 6 hours. You know, there's a reason why. To get the full art project, the full thing, you need to play 40 hours of gameplay, two full playthroughs of 20 hours. It's too much. It's genuinely too much. It's genuinely too much. I don't know. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of it I really respect. There's a lot of the game I really respect. You know, I really appreciate the dedication to this kind of artistic thing. I appreciate the metaphors, the specific metaphors for like Alan. But then there's a lot of just writing convention that isn't that I kind of wish was in the game. You know, if we spent a little bit less time wandering around Coffee World, for example, and a little bit more time on 4 really underdeveloped parts of the game, which was Logan, Alice, Mr. Scratch, and Mr. Door, I would have been a little happier. Like, Remedy doesn't have villains. They don't have any villains in their game, like real villains. Except for like Mr. Scratch in American Nightmare. And it's just there's a lot of emphasis put on things that feel half baked. Oh, they did in Quantum Break. Okay, then Quantum Break was yeah okay. I wasn't sure about Quantum Break, but like I don't know, like the Dark Presence is the villain, but the Mr. Scratch we kind of expected to be. I don't know. Maybe it's my fault after playing American Nightmare and being like, I expected like a guy, like I expected Mr. Scratch, like a villain. Um, Mr. Door I thought was going to be the villain, but he gets 3 scenes and pisses off, and it's just set up for later, like a DLC or Control 2. Um, he's just kind of gone. And then I was thinking like, oh well, Alice's involvement in the story is massive. She's hugely important to the entire ending. The entire main final finale with how Mr. Scratch becomes a thing is because Alan thinks that she died, and then like her involvement in helping Alan is how he understands and the enlightenment literally with the fucking bullet in his head. But she has like 10 to 15 minutes of screen time in the whole game. And then there's like the Logan thing, which is such a major plot point, but it's a plot device. I don't know. I feel like if we're going to spend so much time on Saga's daughter, we would at least see her fucking daughter, you know? I don't know. I don't know, man. It's. I felt more. I felt more satisfied in Alan Wake 1. Crazy enough, even though I think Alan Wake 2 is a better game. Because the Dark Presence was a villain, but it had a face. It was Barbara Jagger. Barbara Jagger was was the villain, was the opposition, the opposing force. And Alan, and we had a goal. We had a set goal the whole time. Get Alice out of the lake. Get Alice out of the lake, you know? And it was clear and cut through the whole thing, and then the ending went all crazy and stuff. But it was grounded. I had this feeling of like of knowing what I was doing, and I don't know what I'm doing in Alan Wake 2 like ever. It's always crazy paranatural shit the whole way. I'm so confused. It's just like I can never take anything at face value. Every time there's a twist or a turn, I'm just like, the world's changing again, and then this, and then what's the deal with this, and then what's the deal with that, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's so exhausting. There's nothing I could put my foot down. I need that mast, man. I need that mast. I need that security, that stabilization, where not every single thing could or could not be real. And I think that's what gets me a little bit. I think that's what gets me a little bit. Everything is real until Sam Lake says it's not. You know? Like when you're in the dark place, if something happened in the dark place, like something just weird happened in the dark place, I don't know, Alice's something or another. Sam Lake could say, that actually happened in the real world and the dark place is grabbing it. Or that was actually a hallucination thing brought on by the dark presence and Mr. Scratch to deal with Alan. Or this is actually a weird quirk of the dark place. And they're all correct. They're all correct. Like they're all like you can't, they're all right. And that's the hard part, because like you can't ever have any consistency, because Sam Lake can just change it on a whim. We get, you don't like Sam Lake? No, I love Sam Lake. He's fucking great. Sam Lake is awesome. He's a genuinely creative mind with some great ideas, and he seems like a fun personality. Sam Lake, you hack, is because he just really is into himself, which is fine. It's a joke. I like him. He's fun, but he's just a weirdo in a lot of ways. The same way David Lynch is a hack. You know, Sam Lake, you hack, it needs parentheses. It's Sam Lake, you hack, affectionate. All right. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know. I I felt better. I needed something more grounded. What Alan Wake does not have is ground to stand on, and I think that is what gets me. It's there. I need some kind of tangible, real thing to hold on to enjoy, to weather the storm of crazy bullshit. And I think Control did that very well, and so did Alan Wake 1. Um and you can do the supernatural craziness, you can do the art house, you can do the crazy stuff, but maybe not in a 20-hour game that requires two playthroughs. That's the other issue, is maybe not in a 20-hour game that has two playthroughs. There's a reason the art house games are short. I'm clearly in the minority here. I'm clearly in the minority here. The game was a wash with 10 out of 10 reviews and awards and etc. But that's what video game opinions are. Doesn't mean I know. Doesn't mean I didn't necessarily like it. I'm just frustrated. There's a large part of AW2 that I enjoyed, and it frustrates me that it's in a package that I overall was mixed on. I don't know. I hold more endearment in Alan Wake 1 and Control than in 2. I don't, like, I think I like Control more. Yeah. I think I like Control more. I think what annoys me though a little bit is that I have like I have this like reflexive need to defend myself because I feel like I had this issue a bit with Control when I played Control, and that was, you know, like if there were certain aspects, because there's so much symbolism in these games, right? There's so many callbacks to the Finnish culture of this, or like this kind of thing or whatever, and there's just so much. And if I don't touch on all of it, then there's the possibility that I just didn't get it, you know? And like I just, you know, I didn't get the majesty. I didn't understand the artistic and blah 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 blah. And it makes me feel like I need to explain myself for fear of being um of being like ostracized as just you didn't fucking get it, you know? Which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that I have that feeling, that feeling, that need to uh, try to defend myself for having an opinion on a video game. That just was a bit much for me. Uh, maybe that's one of the reasons why the Uncharted games were maybe a bit of a better series for me to make, because they're very surface level. You know, we get to talk about like funny gameplay parts or silly plot holes, and that's great, as opposed to this crazy weird art house thing. It's probably the same reason why I feel weird talking about Disco Elysium, you know? The Disco has got so much to it that I don't feel like qualified to talk about it. I genuinely don't feel qualified to make an opinion on Disco. It's just so much. It's just so much. And also, you know, we have to talk about like politics on YouTube and so I don't know. Anyway, Alan Wake 2. I like it technically. I would give it a positive rating. I guess expectations came into it a little bit. I thought Sam Lake would I genuinely thought Sam Lake would wrap this up, but instead of jumping the shark, he fucking kickflipped over it. And I'm all off. So hopefully Control 2 gives me a bit more of a grounded game with a real villain. I want Mr. Door to be a villain. I want a Remedy game to have a fucking villain, like a person, that we see a lot. And actually, is interesting. So we'll see.